Hi, welcome to MTurk Guide. Today we're going to talk about panda links. If you've been doing any research on MTurk, you've probably come across the term panda. Pandas are actually really important to efficient turking, if you will. And if you're trying to use tools like Turkmaster or Panda Crazy, you definitely need to understand pandas, what they do, and how you use them. So that's what we're going to try to do today. So, what is a panda? This is a panda, technically, yes, but in the context of MTurk, it's not. It's not the cuddly little bear. What a panda is, as I said, is a link that's going to help you auto-accept hits using tools like Turkmaster and Panda Crazy. For the record, I go into just a brief little summary of Turkmaster and Panda Crazy in this webcast. It's going to get too long if I try to put everything together. And aside from that, I try to sort of piece these things out, so that people can watch them quickly and efficiently, and then it can target people with the information they're really looking for. So I apologize if it's onerous for you to have to go from video to video to video, but it's kind of just, I can only go so long, and I think some people only want to look at these videos for so long. So check out some of the other videos that'll be coming up more in depth on Turkmaster and Panda Crazy. So the basics. Panda is an acronym. It's actually for preview and accept. So if you look right here, a normal hit link. Now, so when I say a hit link, again, it's a task link. If I were to click on a task and it showed up, the link at the top in my address bar would look like this. It would say mturk.com, MTurk preview, group ID, blah, 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 gibberish. Okay. A panda link of the same exact hit is only different in that after MTurk, it says /preview and accept ? Group ID. So essentially right after preview, it's just adding and accept, the word and accept, ANDACCEPT, and accept. Okay. And what that does is it routes you right to the appropriate hit, and it auto accepts it for you. So when you go to the same hit with or without a panda link, you're going to get it in two different ways. The hit itself is completely the same, but if you don't have a panda link, you'll see your option is to either accept or skip the hit. Okay. If you do it with the panda link, it automatically has already accepted the hit, and your options are to return the hit or scroll down and figure out how you go through the hit and then submit it. So why is it important? Because hits go quickly on MTurk, especially if you're turking during the day, or if it's a requester that's particularly good. Either they've got a great reputation, they pay well, their tasks are easy, anything like that. Stuff like that, they go quickly. And what this does is this takes away the chance of a hit getting kind of pulled out from under you as you're sitting there accepting them. Now, also take into consideration when you want to fill your queue with something because it's a great hit, you like it, whatever, you're going to sit there and type in and accept or hit accept, it really is going to slow you down. So you can start, if you start to think about all that, you start to see where the efficiencies come in with using panda links. So essentially, if you're using panda links, when you use the link and you click on through, it's going to be accepted and it'll be in your queue. Sometimes when I'm working, and I'll show you how to do this. You just accept them. You open up the panda link in a separate window and you're accepting them. They're kind of piling up in your queue. The only caveat with piling stuff up in your queue is be aware of your timers on your individual hits. Make sure things don't expire on you. And since your queue is limited to 25, you can only get yourself so far into a hole, but you do want to keep an eye on those timers. So then creating the panda links, there's a few ways to do it. The simplest way I can explain it is typing and accept into your existing hit link. That's not really efficient, nor is it scalable, if you will. So what the ways that I do it is I'm going to create a panda link, or essentially have the system create it for me, and I'm going to load those panda links into Turkmaster and Panda Crazy, and then I'm going to run those panda links when I want to for those specific hits. So I'm going to stop here for 1 second, because what is important about this is that sometimes requesters will reuse a link, a group, a link for a particular hit. So take Zoltar, for example. Zoltar, they drop in batches in the mornings. When they are dropping, they drop in the mornings. And I've been using the same Zoltar Panda hit for a long time. They don't tend to change it. Other requesters do change their pandas occasionally. So you do kind of have to keep up with what's going on. If you're sure that if you're sure that hits are out there and you put your panda on and you're not getting anything, after you've double checked that your panda is running and all of that, you want to double check that there isn't a new panda link involved in how you would do that. You would go in and look at the hit, and you can recreate the panda link again in the ways that I'm going to show you, and then you can just verify manually that the two are alike. So it'll help you with a little bit of the troubleshooting as well. So my point is, sorry to ramble, but my point is that the panda links don't always stay static. It's really up to the requester. So you've got to be a little vigilant about that. Okay, so just to back up a little bit, if you haven't done all these things, you need to go do them. There's a video that I did about installing scripts, which you need to watch if you haven't done it. You want to make sure you get your tamper monkey, grease monkey. Depending on what you want to use, Turkmaster or Panda Crazy, I would recommend that you load up the scripts for both and figure out which works better for you. There are pros and cons to all of them, and I'll discuss all those in their respective webcasts. But in this particular webcast, I am going to show you how to create the panda links in both of them. So in the case of the installing scripts webcast, I did use Turkmaster as an example just because it's a simple visual example. But as I said, other webcasts will deal with each in detail. So if you need to backtrack after or pause here and go back, or do it after, but definitely check out that video if you need help with installing these tools. Okay, so creating your Panda in Turkmaster. Once the scripts are installed, you want to refresh your MTurk and make sure that you've got your Turkmaster running and all of that, or essentially that is up in your dashboard. So when I say up in your dashboard, it means Turkmaster appears on your dashboard page with all your numbers on the left-hand side. You don't actually have to be running it; it just has to be there. I generally, just as an aside, I keep my dashboard running in my leftmost tab all the time. So it's a decent habit to get into, because if you're using Turkmaster, having it up on that left-hand tab is it helps you, because when you are quickly trying to gather hits in your queue, you don't want to have to reopen your dashboard just to make sure that you've got it running in MTurk when you actually want to turn on that Panda. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to show you when you've got numerous hits available, okay? And so, or a batch, okay? And so in this case, I went to the hits available to me on the toolbar, and then I went and did hits available most first, so by number. And I found one that had a bunch. So in this case, it was, and I'm not endorsing this particular requester, by the way. This is just an example. So I didn't even look at their TO data or anything. So, okay, so they have a bunch, and I'm going to view a hit in this group. So I open it up, and you'll recognize this if you've been in the system. You get the option to accept or skip, and all that, and all the details below. But what you do notice is underneath accept the hit is this gray elongated oval box that says watch this hit. You want to click on that. And when you click on it, it's going to bring up a new box called Add a Watcher. Okay, and what you're going to want to do here is you want to put a name in, something you'll remember. So if it's Zoltar, put Zoltar. If it's, if it's receipt transcription for 411 Richmond, put for Rich, transcribe or something. I mean, you want to keep it somewhat simple, but you also want to remember what it is, because the downfall to pandas is you can accumulate a lot of them. And when you go back to figure out what they are, you'll have no idea. And if the hits aren't up, you have no way of verifying what it is. So, okay, time, that's in seconds. So if you're looking to grab a queue and it's a hot item like Zoltar, what you're going to want to do is you want to put it low. So 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and have it be your only panda running. If you have other pandas running, then you want to set your threshold a little bit higher. And the reason is the way Turkmaster works is it goes through at the intervals you tell it to, and it checks for that hit. So it's putting a strain on the system. And so you'll get, if you've got too much going at once, you'll get what are called page refresh errors. You'll see them. It basically says you've done something too many times in the system or something, and you need to refresh. And I'm going to capture a screenshot the next time it happens to me, but essentially it's when you've got too many things running in either Turkmaster or Panda Crazy. Panda Crazy itself is a way to get around that issue, but when you've got Panda Crazy and Turkmaster running together at the same time, now again, I mean running, not just up, running, you're going to get page refresh errors. So as I get into Turkmaster and Panda Crazy a little bit more, I'll explain how you're affected with the intervals in each. But in this case, we're just going to assume that you're kind of, because we have a lot of this particular one, and you're filling up your queue, and let's say you're working out of your queue, you can maybe put it at 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, depending on how long the hit is. And, you want to get yourself in a position where you can work through your queue efficiently without having them expire. All right. You want the auto accept to be checked. Now, stop on accept, you want it to stop on accept, so you want it to be checked for one when you only want one. If you want the batch and you want it to keep flowing in, you uncheck that box. So in this case, we would uncheck it for the batch. Alert is just, again, it's going to alert you or not alert you from a hearing perspective. And then silence batches after first seen, which just basically means after you hear it for the first time, it'll do this little like trilling sounds like bring, and then it will stop after it does the initial one. And why you might want to do that sometimes is if you're doing a hit that requires the microphone, like Endor, Gemelio, you have to talk into your microphone. And if you have Turkmaster going bring, bring, bring in the background, then it's going to be recording that. So you can either mute your tab where Turkmaster is running, or you can do it this way. So that's the box that's going to pop up. And once you save it, the dashboard is up in another screen, and you return to your dashboard, and you've got to scroll all the way down on the left-hand side, and you'll see that the item is saved and added, and it will be running. If there are any hits available, they'll immediately begin to accept, and on it'll turn from like a light blue to a yellow, and you'll see them. They'll start filling up your queue. If not, it continues to search, as I said, until the hit is accepted, depending on if you instructed it to keep going after it's accepted or not, or a CAPTCHA is detected. So I did another webcast on CAPTCHAs. You've seen them if you're on the internet, and I assume you are if you're listening to this webcast. So where you have to solve your CAPTCHA to keep going. Essentially, Turkmaster will just stop when it detects a CAPTCHA. So you've got to solve the CAPTCHA by either opening. Generally, what I do is I keep a Scout It, requester Scout It, or another requester who always has big batches up. I put it on my toolbar, just a one click, and then I just solve the CAPTCHA real quick, and then I return it, and then keep moving. I've got to turn my Panda back on, and I keep moving. You got to get into a flow with that. So I'm hoping to do some more kind of quick. I'd like to do some troubleshooting worksheets for folks that say, okay, if your Turkmaster's not working, do you have a CAPTCHA, things like that. So I'm hoping to get to that. I'm trying to get through all these webcasts first, but yeah, be aware that CAPTCHAs will stop your Turkmaster. You got to get rid of the CAPTCHA, and you've got to turn the Panda back on, but it happens. Okay, so just to give you some visuals, on the left-hand side here, you see I just used a snippet from my own Turkmaster. Here it's not running, it says NA. And on the right-hand side, the Panda is running, and you see the difference between what I clicked on the play button here. And now if I wanted to pause it, I'd hit the pause button over here. It's light blue. It's showing the intervals, so it'll keep dialing up on the time. And then when one is accepted, it will turn yellow. So that's just the visual for you. So that's Turkmaster, and that's one thing. Panda Crazy is a little different. You must be running it in a separate tab or have it up in a separate tab, I apologize, for the buttons to appear in MTurk. Panda Crazy is a little different. You need to give it a second to refresh, and the buttons will appear, but you got to give it a second. Don't get too eager, because you'll be like, why aren't my buttons appearing? And it's because you're not giving it enough time. There's 2 buttons. There's once in Panda. Once is for a survey, or any hits that you'd want to collect one of, and Pandas for something that you want to fill up your queue. So the theory is exactly the same as it is in Turkmaster. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can grab, you can set up the Pandas in Panda Crazy. Now, if you're looking just basically at your list of hits available to you without going into the actual hit, over here you'll see the 2 buttons. You can just click on those buttons and it'll add it into Panda Crazy and it'll start running it. If you actually enter the hit itself, the same buttons will appear up in the left-hand corner, and it just says Panda Crazy PC. You just hit the button, and then you go into your tab with Panda Crazy, and down here you'll see exactly what the box will look like. And the way you can tell if it's running is the search number right here will keep ticking up as it's searching, and the accept will keep ticking up as it accepts more. This parentheses right here is 2285. At the time that I put this into my Panda Crazy, there were 2,285 in the batch at that moment when it started accepting the one that I allowed it to accept. And then if you get a CAPTCHA in Panda Crazy, same thing, it stops. You get a dialog box that says you've got a CAPTCHA, you unpause it, and then you have to, and then if you shut off the Panda, you have to recollect it. I'm not going to go into too much detail about all these other buttons, but that's how you get into Panda Crazy from the MTurk interface. So hopefully that's somewhat clear. They're pretty easy when you have hits available. And when you're testing this, I encourage you to do it with ones that are available so you know you're doing it right. When there are no hits available, it's different. And this has probably happened to everybody. You click on something that looks appealing, whether you're in Hitscraper or you're actually in MTurk or somebody posted it somewhere or whatever, and there's nothing. It says there are no hits available in this group to you at the moment. And you can still add the Panda from here and let it run. And either somebody might let one expire, they may return one, the requester may drop more. So, it's definitely worth a try. And to do that here, this watch this hit box, which should be familiar to you now, you would use this for Turkmaster and you would get the dialog box like I showed you. And then for Panda Crazy, you got your Panda and your once, and it'll show up in Panda Crazy just like I showed you. So whether there are hits available or not, you should be able to put a Panda together either way. Okay. So that was kind of the quick and easy, hopefully easy, layout of Pandas, what they are and how you put them together. I suggest you experiment a little with them. Come back to me with questions. I'm going to post hopefully tomorrow the Turkmaster and Panda Crazy kind of in-depth. And if you let me know what questions you have on this, I can certainly put together some more videos for you. So please comment and let me know what you think. Thanks, everybody.